We turn now to the President-elect's senior advisor, Kellyanne Conway, who is in West Palm Beach. Kellyanne, I understand you just got off the phone with Mr. Trump. Does he have any news that you want to deliver to us?
He did say hello to you, John, and he looks forward to joining you in the future as the president in an interview.
Excellent. We'll hold him to that commitment. Let me ask you about a theory I've gotten from some Republican officials this week. This is their theory. Once Donald Trump clears the Electoral College vote on Monday, he'll drop his skepticism that Russia was involved in hacking the election. What do you make of that theory?
The entire nonsense about the electors trying to use the Russian hacking issue to change the election results is really unfortunate. I think that actually undermines our democracy more than any other conversation that we're having right now. We were really struck by what seems to be disagreement and consternation between the President Obama camp and the Hillary Clinton camps this week. You have Josh Earnest doing remarkable things from the podium of the White House press secretary, basically telling us all what Donald Trump obviously knew when he would have no way of knowing that, and it's frankly disrespectful. And then you have his own president, President Obama, in his final press conference, refusing to go all the way here and say that Russia had hacked into emails that went ahead and interfered with the election or shifted the election results. President Obama knows how to win the presidency. He did it twice, and he did it with states like Michigan, which he won by 10 points, which we just won. He did it by winning states like Wisconsin, which Hillary Clinton ignored.
Kellyanne, let me sorry to interrupt, but just on this question of Mr. Trump is still skeptical that the Russians were even involved, leaving aside the question of whether it affected the election or not. You have the CIA, the FBI, the Director of National Intelligence, now a number of Republicans saying it's clear that the Russians hacked. That, just as a basic premise, is clear. Mr. Trump, since late September, has said that he doesn't think that's the case. He still says that now. What does he know that all those intelligence officers don't know?
John, where's the evidence? Why, when CIA officials were invited to a House intelligence briefing last week, did they refuse to go? Instead, they're talking to the media. That undermines our national security, our intelligence operations.
But does he himself have evidence, Kellyanne, that suggests that this isn't the case?
Well, the president-elect receives intelligence briefings that I am not privy to. But let's focus on the issue at hand, which is if the CIA, if Director Brennan and others at the top are serious about turning over evidence to we the American people, they should do that. And they should show up when the House Intelligence Committee invites them to brief them. But, you know, that's a closed-door meeting, so it's not so exciting and tantalizing because then you can't leak it to the media. They should not be leaking to the media. If there's evidence, let's see it. I would note that President Obama himself the other day stopped short of saying what many pundits on TV are saying, and they would have no idea because I'm fairly sure they don't get intelligence briefings. I'll tell you what the unintelligence briefing we all know is, which is that Hillary Clinton and her team spent $1.2 billion, lost an election they should have won, didn't see us coming, and got a lot of help, frankly, from people in the media who are still trying to fight the last war.
I guess what I'm
is over. This man is the president.
Absolutely, and much more to the point, he's going to be the president. So what we're trying to do is figure out how does the president-elect take in new information that's interesting, that's volatile, that's at the center of national security here. So on the one hand, you have the entire intelligence community that says the Russians were hacking the election, again, leaving aside the question of whether it had an effect. And then you have the president-elect totally dismissing that. So I wonder, does his entire team have the same view that there is no merit to the idea that the Russians were involved?
But remember, you just said the word election. I have to push back because that's what everybody's doing. They're conflating whether Russia hacked into the emails and how it affected the election. I see in every paragraph in every story, I listen to people who don't know what they're talking about on TV and frankly are never under oath. We're listening to the White House press secretary himself make these allegations. Hillary Clinton is telling her donors that. And I've talked to some of those donors, and they don't believe it. They were given all those fancy maps and graphics that assured them Hillary Clinton would win in the blowout. They don't accept it. Look, I also want to I want to say something else. I listened to Donna Brazile on a different network this morning, and I very much appreciated the fact she seems to be pushing back against President Obama and this idea that after President Obama, as he clearly stated in his final press conference on Friday, John, he said, I told Vladimir Putin to cut it out, and he did. The hacking stopped. It seems like she was in disagreement with that. It seems like people in the Democratic Party wanted the president to go farther and want him to go further now. And that, I guess that's his right. We'll see what he does in the next couple of weeks.
All right. We're not going to get any insight into the president-elect's thinking here, but let me try this. Did anyone involved in the Trump campaign have any contact with Russians trying to meddle with the election?
Absolutely not. And I discussed that with the president-elect just last night. Those conversations never happened. I hear people saying it like it's a fact on television. That is just not only inaccurate and false, but it's dangerous.
Does the president-elect,
and it does undermine our democracy.
Does the president-elect approve of President Obama's decision to retaliate against the Russians for hacking into the election?
The president-elect respects the ability of President Obama to do what he sees necessary in any number of different arenas. It does seem to be a political response at this point, because it seems like the president is under pressure from Team Hillary, who can't accept the election results. And I would point out,
sorry,
too,
Kellyanne, I just want to make sure I didn't misunderstand that. You're saying the president is retaliating because he's doing it purely for political and not national security reasons?
John, what I'm saying is that the president-elect respects the ability of the right of President Obama to do what he wants. He's the president for the next several weeks. We believe in sanctions that work, not just sanctions for sanction's sake, but it's very clear that President Obama could have, quote, retaliated months ago if they were actually concerned about this and concerned about this, quote, affecting the election. Whatever his motives are, whatever his action is, we'll respect it as Americans. But that doesn't mean that new President Trump will agree with it and continue with it. But I also want your viewers to be reminded of one thing. When it comes to Russia and coziness, let's not forget it was Hillary Clinton, through her Craven Foundation request. Bill Clinton got $1 million to give a speech in Russia, and then she turned over 20% of U.S. uranium rights. Okay. So let's be honest about who for money and who for power and who for access has cozied up to the Russians.
Just so I'm not left with the wrong impression, the impression you've left me is that you're saying that President Obama is reacting here to the Russians because he's feeling political pressure. Do I have a misimpression?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, I just want to make sure you clear that.
I said, no, what I'm saying is, John, he is under political pressure. Definitely, because you've got people from Team Hillary saying something very different than what President Obama himself is saying.
Okay.
They are disagreeing, and look, it's his legacy that's being questioned here. That's obvious. They've lost 1,000 state
Kellyanne, we're going to have to leave it there.
They lost the Congress.
All right, I'm
many
sorry,
governorships
Kellyanne,
and senators.
We've run out of time.
Thanks for having me.
All right.